Okay, a few more of the problems from the semester 2 final review. These are models for 17. I think I'm going to probably do 17 through 20 on this short video. And we have two complex numbers here, 5 plus 3i. And we're multiplying that times 2 minus 4i. Well, we would normally use FOIL, but I have taught you guys that if you rearrange it slightly, it works better. So first times first here is 10. Last times last is negative 12i squared. The outside pair is negative 20i, and the inside pair is plus 6i. Now you can see that I put a little tail on those i's. You probably want to do a better job than I did on that first one. Okay, I will be combining these in a minute, but I'm going to concentrate on this I squared. I squared is actually negative 1. So when you say negative 12i squared, you're saying negative 12 times negative 1, and the effect is simple. It just changes the signs. So it changes the sign of that part of it. So you're going to cross out the I squared, and you're going to change the negative to its opposite. Now, if you had started out with a plus sign there, you would change it to a minus sign. So now we have 10 plus 12 minus 20i plus 6i, and you end up with 22 minus 14i. Okay, and I will expect you to show work on this problem. Your calculator can probably handle this if you put it in complex mode. Okay, solve using the quadratic formula. Let me write it first, but you should memorize this formula. I won't provide it on the test. Okay, the opposite of b would be negative 4, and then you immediately square it. Then there's a permanent minus 4 that's part of the equation, and you multiply it by a, which is 2, and c, which is negative 3. And on the bottom you have 2 times the a value. Okay, use your calculator and simplify all of that part under there. It's called the discriminant, that part. So I'll do that on my own calculator here in a second. Okay, I'm going to type 16. This is just on my home screen. 16 minus 4 times 2 times negative 3. And you should get 40 down there. Okay, we're going to work on that 40. I think there's a perfect square trying its best to hide inside of it. So that ends up being negative 4 plus and minus 2 root 10 over 4. And then we examine this thing to see if there's a common factor in all three parts of this triad here. And they all divide by 2. So you end up with, divided by 2, you end up with negative 2 plus or minus root 10 over 2. Okay, and that one's done. All right, numbers, I'll go ahead and do all the way through 20 here. Give me an example of a quintic binomial. Well, to make it quintic, let's put an x to the 5th there and make it fancy by putting a coefficient. And I need one more term. It can be anything. Let's do 4x to the 3rd. It's quintic because of the 5th power there, and that being the highest exponent. And it's a binomial because when you chop it up here, there's two parts to it. There's the first term and the second term. Okay, a quadratic trinomial. The highest exponent has to have the second power on it. So I'm going to use a variable of m with the second power on it and put a 2 in front just to be fancy, or let's be really fancy, 4.3. But that's quadratic because of the squared that's on the m. Now, if I put anything higher, I have to put lower exponents from now on. Plus 1.4m, and we have a binomial now, but I need one more here, plus 7.8. And this is open-ended. You can do anything you want here as long as it fits the quadratic trinomial description. So let's make sure it meets those criteria. It's quadratic, check, and it's a trinomial, so we're good. Okay, the last one I'm going to do in this installment of the videos is to classify this polynomial here. Well, the highest exponent is fourth power. That makes it quartic. By the way, fifth power is quintic, and it goes in the following order: constant, linear, quadratic, cubic, quartic, and quintic. You know what? I did the wrong thing there. Let me see if I can move that answer. That's classifying it by degree. And we're supposed to classify it by number of terms. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 terms. So this is a polynomial with 5 terms. Now that format you use anytime there's 4 or more terms. If there's less than that, the words are monomial, binomial, and trinomial. Okay, that's the end of this installment of the video. Problems, what was that, 17 through 20.